I think so. Yeah, hey, ask Jordan to get on there and see if she can see or hear me on this, yeah. Okay, all right. Can y'all see me? Can you see me, Jordan?
Yeah, I see you and I can hear you.
Okay, good. Hey, but no, that's what I wanted you to check. Make
Yeah,
sure.
and I see the board too, so you're good.
All righty, all right. Because last time you couldn't hear me or see me or even see the board, so I was just checking. Mado. Istongon jokayadega. Istongon jokayadega. That's for one person now. I hear the Indians. Listen to the Indians. Istongon jokayadega. Okay. Istongon jokayadega ga. More than one person. This is for a group. If you're talking to a group, you walk into the room and you'll say, Istongon jokayadega ga. And if you're just talking to one person, you walk in and say, Istongon jokayadega. Istongon jokayadega. And it's weird that we don't have good morning, and that's a greeting, but we didn't have it. We just said, did you make it through the night okay? And actually, that is saying a good morning, isn't it? To a point, that is saying good morning. Did you make it? Because morning, you make it through the night to get the morning. So that's kind of where that comes from. And since November 3rd is going to be end of our class for the 6 weeks, then we'll get a break. I'm going back over a lot of things like sounds and what we went over before. Okay. So that way, I want you to kind of, it's a refresher. Okay. Being refreshed never stops because I still do that for myself now. I'm a speaker, but I'm not a writer. I'm not a speller, a very good one. And so, but speaking I can, because writing and reading was new to me. It was a very new thing for me. Sounds was new for me. It took a lot of self-study to get to the point where I am now, and I knew the word in English, like if it said cow, I could see, and I knew what cow was in Muskogee, but to read the word, I didn't know it. So it's good to know these sounds and make sure that you study them, because it does take a lot of self-study, and I know some of us don't have time, like me. I mean, if I had the time, to do everything I wanted to do, there would have to be probably a 60-hour, deal for me to get everything done. But unfortunately, and so a lot of times when I studied these, I would stay up. But that sometime now with my age, that staying up does not help. Okay, so it's still going to look here. Creek has tones. And I don't know if y'all ever heard about they'll say, well, it doesn't sound as funny in English as it does in Muskogee, or it doesn't sound it sounds different in English than it does in Muskogee. That's because of the tones. And people, our Muskogee people, they're humorous people anyway, and they told funny things. And they would just laugh, and they could laugh at themselves. And of course, they laughed at other people too. But and they told stories that was funny. But it was the tone that they carried. And the way they told it. I've sat in on a lot of conversations where they would just laugh and have a good time, but they were telling each other things. It could be stories, it could be something about themselves that was funny. Something they did that was funny. I want to say we were social people, very social. And of course, you can tell by being social. When I remember when they were eating at a table, they would just be talking about different things. And I'm talking different things. But the tone had a lot to do with it. Tone can change the meaning of a word. Look here. Nagi, thing. Nagi is what? So when you say nagi, just plain, simple, nagi, you say thing. What is it? It's a thing. But what? Like you're answering somebody. Nagi. Nagi. What? Like, see, that's what, okay. I know my little grandson, they'll say something and I'll say, Nagi. Nagi. What? See? And this thing, if I said Nagidi, ya Nagidowa, Nagidowa, see, what is this thing? Nagidowa. Okay. Consonants can be doubled and then are held longer. This is what I was talking about, guys, yesterday about double consonants. This is a double consonant right here. When you got the two of the same letters, same sounds in one word. Look here. Ido. Ido is tree. Jito is snake. I want you to remember where your tongue placement is now. Jito. I've heard people say jito. There's no such word as jito. Okay? Jito. It's jito. See how these sounds help you? Like I said, there's no such word as jito. Jito. It's jito. Jit. Hear that T? D? Hear that D on both sounds? Jito. And that O. See? It's G-E-D-D-O. But jito, there's no such word as jito. It's jito. Haji is tail. Haji is stream. Now listen, that G, you don't hear that first G very much, but it's there. It's on top of your palate. Haji, stream. Try to hear whether it's saying the A word, ah, the B word, or the C word. Okay. Look here. Hoof. Laksa. Laksa is a hoof. Any kind of hoof, guys. Ijo, thako. Ijo's deer. Thako, horse. Waga. So you could say ijo laksa. That's deer hoof. Thako laksa. That's a horse hoof. Waga laksa. Anything is got a hoof. It's laksa. Okay. But look here. B, a liar. Laksa. Hear that long sound. And that changes this. Spelled the same, but changes it. Laksa. That's a liar. Spelled the same, but the tone changes the meaning. And that's what I'm saying about stories. They say, well, it ain't as funny in English. It's because of the tones. Like, laksha, that's a liar. Faga, faga is a vine. Faga is hunted. Faga is hunted. Haji is tail. Haji is river. Haji is drunk. Okay. So see how these tones are changing. Got this thing. My little hand ain't up here. I don't know where it went. Okay. Look here. Now. Right here. This is another thing right here. Illy is short sound. His or her foot. Illy. Listen to it. Illy. But then being dead is illy. Same spelling, different meaning because of the tone. Illy, his or her foot, dead. Illy, illy, that changes the meaning. So if I say Gary illy, I'm saying Gary's foot. Bonnie illy, Bonnie's foot. Excuse me, hang on. Excuse me. Goodness. And then we have like istuji, baby foot. Istuji ili, baby. Istuji is another person. Okay, we got ili. Ili is dead. Boshi ili dos. The cat is dead. Flacco ili dos. The horse is. See how that is making that different, but you make Flacco ili, horse foot. But you got to change that tone to make it to where it's going to fit that. Okay, this is good word content, guys. You can say Thako ili, horse's foot, but you can say Thako ili dos. The horse is dead. And remember, dos is. It takes a place. It can be used as is. So see how this is coming in, okay? Look here, her husband. Wanda, Wanda's husband. Jerry, Jerry's husband. Mary, Mary's husband. But when we say yes, we say See, we're saying yes. And that's where tones comes in. So the short and the long, we drag out one, okay? One is just dragged out. He's looking at it. He just, Taco, oh, go back up, Nagi, thing, Nagi, Dua. What is that? Nagi, Dua. Nagi, Chiaja. What do you want? Nagi, Iskida, Chiaja. What do you want to drink? Water? A thing, see? Water? Tea? Pop? Okay, here we go to what? What? Okay, we can use the same thing. Nugget. Noggin. What? Noggin. Chiaja. What do you want? Noggin. Iskida chiaja. What do you want to drink? See, this can be used in all different ways, guys, but it's the tone. The tone changes it. And we're going back over this because this is something we need to learn. He's looking at it. Joga, he's looking at the paper, and he could be going to school. Because paper can be used at school, because in school you look at paper, it's a descriptive word. So when they say school, they call it Mahagajogo, a teaching building. But you can also say he's going to school. Mahagajogo, Mahagajogo, he just, but he sees it. He jeez. Mahagajogo, he jeez. He's seeing the school. See, there's two different meanings there. And that can be confusing to a point, especially in Muskogee. But it's the tone. He just is short. He sees it is long. Any questions so far on that? Because it can be a little bit difficult to do that. Okay. Look here. Up. Remember? V is a sound. Ah. Listen to the words as they are read and try to figure out whether the sound is short or held long. A grasshopper is duffel. Is that short or long? Duffel. Duffel. So how would you spell that? Duffel. That sounds short to me, so I would say D-A-V-V-O. Duffel. Duffel. D-A-V-V-O. Grasshopper. Okay, you go to here. See, this is Creeklish though. We don't have a word for coffee. So we say coffee. Coffee. Is that a or a ah? Listen. Coffee. I hear a ah, don't y'all? Coffee. It's long, isn't it? It's dragged out, it's kind of hell. Okay, look here. Turtle. Loja. Loja. Is that short or long? Loja. See, to me, it's short. Got that sound. Loja. And see, this can help you spell, guys, like duffel. You hear the so you know that D-A-V-V-O is a duffel, is a grasshopper. Coffee. It's long, held longer. Ki-a-v-e. Loja. Is that short or long? To me, it's a short. Li-u-ji-a. Listen now. Li-u-ji-a. Loja. Loja. Ja. See, it's a turtle. My grandfather. Maboja. Oh, Jaboja. Did you hear me add English to that? Jaboja. Is that short or long? Jaboja. My grandfather. It would be held longer. Jaboja. Jaboja. Hear that? G-A-B-O-G-A. G-A-B-O-G-A. Jaboja, my grandfather. Gaba. Gaba is a coat. What is that? I hear a long sound. Gaba. G-A-B-A. Coat. Waga. Waga. Hear that tone? Hear those tones? Waga. When you start using sounds, that enunciation comes in on how you say this. Okay? Waga. Cow. We are ge up. Waga. Hear those tones? Hear those sounds? Adami. Adami. I hear A-D-A-M-I. Adami. Adami is a car, and that's Creeklish. Ayo. Ayo. Hear that? Ayo. I-E-O. Hawk. Yanasa. Yanasa. I think that's all short. D-A-Ni-A-C-A. Yanasa. What about this one? Sada. Sada. I don't hear a sada. It's sada. So I think it would be short, C-A-D-A. Okay, C-A-D-A. Bagana. Now this is a tricky one, listen. Bagana. This would be B-A-G-A-N-I-A. Bagana. Halbada. Halbada. So this one I hear a hul, B, A, B, A, D, A. He, A, li, B, A, D, A. Halbada. You know, this isn't just like English to a point. We have long sounds and words and short sounds. But with the difference with this, I'm going to tell you this. Everybody says grasshopper. Y'all know what that stuff for. You know, don't say coffee, say coffee. And whether they know it or not, if you're going to ask somebody ask them if they want coffee, say coffee instead of coffee. And when you're talking about your grandfather, say jaboja, jaboja. My grandkids, they say boja all the time. That's all they know. They don't know what grandpa is in English. And but they know Baba. They were talking about it the other day. They said Baba. And it's one of their other, on the other side of the family, they call him Baba. So they say Baba. But then they call, on my side, they call him Boja. Okay, look here. Gaba. And this is getting time to get here now. Gaba. Where you need one, it's getting garapi. It's getting cold. Say Gaba instead of coat. Use these words. And you don't have to speak in full sentences. You can tell your grandchild or your daughter or your son or even your husband, get your GABA. Get your GABA. And hand it to them. And show it to them. GABA. GABA. See what I'm saying? See what I'm doing? GABA. Adami. Adami. When you're gonna go, tell them Adami. Adami. Don't call it a car. You know, these are just simple words to get you into the habit. And you know, even thank you, Mado. Legas, sit down. Just using one word will get you into the habit and you'll know what it is. And at first it's tough because you are English dominant. The whole world is English dominant. When you start using Muskogee, it's going to become a habit. A habit. And you know, it's becoming a habit even after my classes or I'm speaking somewhere. Due to the fact that I'll just forget and just start speaking Muskogee. And you will too, and that's okay. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay. And my grandkids watch a show with alligators on there, and I'll be sitting there going, halubada, halubada. And then they'll get it. They say, Grandma, is that halubada? And I said, yes, halubada. See, they got it. So now they're in a habit. They're in that habit. There you go, Jonathan. Jaboja. Good job. See, he's saying Jaboja. He said, my grandpa. Okay, so right here, Ada. Ada. This Adomi. You can say that. That is dialect. That right there. Adomi. Adomi. Adotki. Yeah. Okay, my grandfather James worked on cars, so you could say That's good right there. You know, that's putting words together pretty good right here. See how he's trying? That's it right there. And that perfection will come in. That perfection will come in. But that is good right there, huh, Ella? See, very good, Jonathan, very good. Because you know, that's how you have to do it. That's how you have to do it, guys. You have to try. And if you don't try or get intimidated, remember now, don't be afraid to make that mistake. Don't be afraid, because I made a mistake. I make mistakes all the time. And I'm supposed to be who be teaching you, but I make mistakes. So don't be afraid to make them. Use it, okay? Use it. Like bagana. We went into and you know, I teach my kids, you know, well, we used to get peaches off of a tree back then. And if you didn't wash it, it put that stuff, it kind of burned on your lips. And I always tell them to wash it. And in a supermarket, I really tell them to wash it because of different things going on. So I said, bagana okusas. Bagana okusas. And they know okusas, but you know what? Bagana, it was right there showing it to them. Bagana. So they knew, okay, this is a peach to me, but to her, it's a bagana. It's a bagana. And sometimes they'll forget words, but see, you guys, Jonathan, you're doing good. Use it. Use these words, okay? Use these words. Mado. Hombas, just use it. Okay, look here. E or E? I or E? Okay. Ijo. What do you hear? Ijo. Ijo is a deer. It's short to me. E, it's E-G-O. Ijo. E-G-O. But look at this one. Figi. Figi. Hear that? You know, I've heard figi. It's figi. Hear that tone? Figi. F-E-G-E. Okay. Here's a her. I don't know what that is. E-1-wa. E-1-wa. Brother. Sister. E-1-wa. Hear it? E-1-wa. So that sounds long to me. E-we-a-ni. We-a. E-1-wa. How about abyssi? Abyssi. I don't hardly hear E. I hear I. Abyssi. A-B-I-C-C-E. Abyssi. Igana. Igana. Iki-a-ni-a. Igana. Land. Here's her head. Iga. Here, listen. Iga. Iga. You don't hear Iga or Iga. You hear Iga. Iga. And that's short, isn't it? Iki-a. Waga bisi. Waga bisi. That's milk. Waga bisi. It's descriptive. Waga bisi. B-E-C-E. What do y'all think that is? Waga B-C. Waga B-C. I hear short and long. B-A-C-E. Waga B-C. And that's where tones comes in, guys. This is where tones come in. Misty. Misty. I hear a long and short. Miss. I hear short and long. Mi-I-C-G-E. There you go. Mi-I-C-G-E. Misky. So that's short and long E. This is what helps you get that tone, enunciation. This helps with everything. Just learning sounds. And when we speak different, Diphthong. Okay. Remember? U, E, U, E, like weewa. That is very confusing, like we, the. It's got he, u, e, the, e. We, the. That u, e can knock you off for a loop now. It can knock you into a loop, but it's called ho-we-wa. So it's he, u, be, u, e, we, a. He, o, be, u, e, we, a, which would be H-O-P-U-E. We are. That's a diphthong. Here we go. Ahogoji. This is V-H-A-U. Oh. Ahogoji. Window. Ah. That's hard to say because it's a diphthong. Ahogoji. Logi. D. This is li, a, u, ki, e, L-A-U, ki, e. That's where this can be really confusing. We, wa, ahogoji, logi. And those are hard. You know what I couldn't spell to stand? We, the. I couldn't hardly read it unless I read it in English because I didn't really know how to do those diphthongs. But it's we. Or logi, oh. That's hard sound to make, but it's there. These sounds is helping get the tone and how to use vowels, how they're pronounced, and the vowels, okay? It's what it is right there, tones. Tones have everything to do with sounds. How you doing? Okay.
Mvhayv, hada magas deep,
Deep, low,
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 low. Okay, I keep that the K throws me off. When I'm trying to read it. Because I'm sitting there looking at them and I'm reading them, but it throws me when I have to use the K with that gus sound. Logi.
Okay, what right here is the L-A-U. Li-a-u-ki-e, low-key. That's what's messing you up. Not the ki-e, but the a-u. Logi.
Logi.
Yeah, L-A-U. That's spelled L-A-U-K-E. And that's what messing you like Hobuiwa. It's H-O-B-U-E-W-V. And that's H-O-P-U-E. And that's what's confusing. It's not the wa or the uji or the gi. It's the ones in the middle. Like ahogoji, it's he, u, au, ahogoji. That's messed me up when I was learning how to read and write. Was that u-e, and I was like, how in the world do you pronounce that? But it's we, o, no, o, and we. U-E is pronounced we. And aho, is o, aho, gucci. That's what's hard. And this can throw you off big time. It can throw you off big time. And that's what I had a hard time with. Because I couldn't even read it. I had to read it in English and I knew what it was in Greek. So I read it in English and my teacher said, You're reading this in English and translating it. And I said, yeah, but I don't know these, I don't know these. So that's where that's confusing with this one right here. Okay. Listen to this. Creek has 3 short vowels and 3 long vowels. 3 short vowels and 3 long vowels. The long vowels are held slightly longer and are usually more tense. Pronounced with the tongue. Now listen, see, it's telling you. Pronounced with the tongue further away from its neutral position than the short vowels. The short vowels are often lax, allowing the tongue to assume a more central position in the mouth. Short vowels are a, e, u. A, e, u. Ajicorn as English ago. Here, ago, Ichki. Here's a her mother as in if. Ichki. Ooh as in fushwa, bird as in English put. Hear it? Ooh, fushwa. But there's just 3 short vowels. A, I, u. A, I, u. Okay. A, I, u. Those are just short vowels. Okay, here we go. See how different this is than English? And this will help you get your tones too. And sounds. Okay. Long vowels. This is like just English, just almost like English. Long vowels or afki, I, afki, I, o. Let me try to get this all in one thing. A, I, o. Afki. How many grades as in English? Father. Hear it? Father. It's long. Afki. When when a is followed in the syllable by he or ki, it may also represent a short tense vowel as in taki. Big. Ichko. Dry corn as in feed. Hear it? Eat. Ichko. Feed. Ofa. Listen there. Ofa. As in the English road. Old. Ofa. It may also represent a short tense vowel as in uba. This is long. Ofa. But uba is short. And it's just the intensity in how you drag it out. Ofa or uba. Okay. Okay, here we go with the consonants. Binwa, Turkey. Binwa. I've heard pinwa. Pinwa is not a word, but it's binwa. Binwa is a turkey. As in English, spin. Now listen. Binwa, spin. Creek B is unaspirated. Saying without the puff of air that English speakers add at the beginnings of stressed syllables. It therefore sounds to English speakers as though it were halfway between B, a P and a B. And you would hear that. Like Benoit. See, you can almost hear that P in there, Benoit. Benoit and Benoit. Between that, it's almost in between. You're not saying it both words. You're not exactly saying P, you're not exactly saying B, but you're in between that. Benoit. Benoit's a turkey. Dafa. Dafa is a feather. Now listen. Dafa, as in English, stiff. Hear it? Stiff. Creek. D is unaspirated. Because what they mean is like sounding to English speakers as though it were halfway between a T and a D. Dafa. See, hear it? Dafa. You can say da. It's saying D to a point, but it seems like when you get a little bit further into D, it's kind of turning into a T sound. Da. Dafa. Jissy. Okay, remember there's double consonants as in English inch. Greek G is unaspirated, sounding to English speakers that was almost as though it were halfway between G as in ja, chair, and J, jaw. Okay. So see, it was halfway between G, as in chair, and J, jaw. But just see, you got double consonants in that earlier rule. You got to pronounce both. Just see. The Creek G is unaspirated, sounding to, we're halfway between ja, as in chair, and J. Any questions on this? GABA. Is getting that close to time. We're down here, we're chilly today. We've been chilly for the last week and a half or so. Word, GABA. We can't say GABAs now. We cannot put an S to it. We have to say GABA, Hokole, GABA, Docina. We have to put a number to it. We can't say GABAs. Okay, so GABA, coat, as in English, skirt. GABA, skirt. GABA, skirt. Creek, K is unaspirated. G is unaspirated. Sounded to English speakers, it was almost halfway between G and kit and G and goat. Listen, GABA. Hear it? GABA. Full, as in English, foot. It may sound like English between vowels. Full, and then listen to foot. Soka, hug, approximately as in English sun. Sun, soka. Though sometimes sounding more like English shoe. It may also sound like English Z, especially between vowels. Soka, hear it? That Z, soka, zuka, soka. You can almost hear that Z. So, guys, see, this is what I need y'all to go over this because it's going to get a little more difficult as we go along. And I'm getting different words like, I just got through working on them. You know, I haven't got it typed out yet, but this is going to be for the November 13th class. Now, remember, we won't have November 3rd is our last class. I'll skip a week. November 13th, we'll start back. But now listen, we're doing different words like something that, you know, that we don't even use hardly now, but they're there. We know what they are. The, oh, that's supposed to be an R. Fee is a R. Fee, fee, o. Change this fee to R. Fish. This consonant has no English equivalent. Wonder why? It sounds a little like three in the English, filthy, except that the air passes over the side of the tongue rather than the tongue tip. Do it. Thuffle, thuffle. I hear it right here. I can feel it. Thuffle. It's a lateral fricative. Whatever that is. I can't say it, I'm tongue tied. Too much Muscovy. It's there. Thuffle. Thuffle. I can feel that right on the side of my mouth. It comes out. Thuffle. Okay. Hushy. Hushy. Son as in English. Head. Now get that. Hushy and head. Ha. Head. Hear it as in English head. When doubled, it has a rougher quality approaching. Ha. Hushy. Miko. Chief as in English mouse. How in the world? Miko, but listen, Miko is chief mouse. Hear it? Miko, mouse. It's more prominent. Okay. Nithi. Hear the tone? Nithi, night as in English, night. Before K, it is usually pronounced like English nig in sing. Ing. Nithi. Loja, turtle as in English, light. Light, loja. Wodko, raccoon as in English, wind. Hear it? Wodko, wind. Wodko. Yanasa, buffalo as in the English, yellow. Yanasa as in English, yellow. Yellow. Hear it? Yanasa, yellow. Yellow. But here, listen, yellow. Yellow, and then here, Yanasa. You can hear that, almost that same sound. Double consonants in Creek are held slightly longer than single consonants. Example, hussy, ussy. Hussy, son, ussy. Hear that? Because there's no silent sounds, but you got to sound out. You got, this sounds is there. Now listen, ussy. Us, you don't have that C, the first C, but it's a C. That gives you tone, guys. A C. Ido versus jitto. Ido is tree or wood. Jitto, snake. Jitto. And you don't exactly say this first D, but it's right there on top. Your tongue is on top of your palate, behind your front teeth. Jitto. Jitto. This helps enunciation, guys. This helps you pronounce these words right. Some P speakers tend to pronounce iki as iki. Ha. See, ha, jitto, snake. Hear it? Jitto. Okay. Any questions on this? This is what we need to go back over, okay, right here. This helps enunciation. This helps tone. This helps spelling. This helps in every which way. And you will see it, okay? Look here, we're going to go through this. Magus. Hear it? Magus. Magus. Say it. Magus. I want y'all to say what we did. I want y'all to say Magus. Don't say it. Say Magus. Hadam Magus. Say it again. And you can put this Hadam again. in all kinds of things. You can say Yahagas. Hadam Yahagas, sing again. Hadam Mahayas, teach again. Hadam Litkas, run again. And you can say Magas. Say it. Say run again. Say jump again. Say all this stuff. These two. Jibohawks. I can't hear you. Jibohawks. Or you could say noggin. Oh, here we go. You can say Jibohawks. Or you could say noggin Jibohawks. What? I can't hear you. Noggin Jibohawks. Or you can just say Jibohawks. Noggin. What? I can't hear you. Hear that? Jingithux. I don't understand. Jingithux. Noggin. What? Jingithux. What? I don't understand. Noggin. What? Jibohawks. What? I can't hear you. Noggin. Hadamagas. What? Say it again. See how I'm just putting these together right off the top of my head, guys. And it's just using magas and noggin. Magas, say it. And see, this is every day for me and my family. I'll say magas, magas. That's every day. That's every day. Okay, any questions? We got about 9 minutes and I'm gonna go ahead and just cut it off here because this was deep, guys. This was really deep. If you agree with me, you know, I don't know if you agree with me, but this is deep and hard to sometimes absorb. It's hard to absorb. So if y'all want to go back over this when it's going to be recorded, so it's on there. And you will not, if you just go over this, the sounds and this part, vowels, you're gonna see a difference. I'll guarantee you that. Because this is how I learned. I knew how to speak, but I didn't know how to read and write. So this just opposite with y'all. Y'all, like you, Ella, this will help you learn to read, and the rest of you is will learn, teach you how to hearing those tones. Okay? Hearing those tones, just using it every day. And you know, we were talking language yesterday, today, and we just lost a speaker. They're burying her today. She was a speaker. You know, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we lost another speaker. You know, and you know that that's devastating to our tribe, to our nation. It should. Because when each speaker dies, that's one less than what we have. And
Mahaya, Jogathak on Okunaidan Getiran Zayat Stonoat. Something I found as I was trying to learn to read, just trying to read John 3:16. There's old words they're using. And so words that we don't use, like his only begotten son, you know, they're saying it with a born, you know, and I couldn't figure it out. And so I called Daryl Proctor and Amanejaskej, I know one, and he said, they're saying words here that aren't here. And so they were using, I guess, Old English, whatever. And so that made our Creek, they were using Old Creek words that we were having trouble with it, reading it, because it using words. And another one that I found was when Elizabeth is talking to Mary, the mother of Jesus, when they found out they were pregnant, that Elizabeth was said, "Drustak Hodi," and I thought, what are they trying to say? And they were talking about the womb, and I thought, oh, because I have never, my grandma, my mom, they never talked about the womb when there's a baby in there. They never said anything like that. So I didn't know. And that just threw me. But using words that I don't know, makes it harder to try to read.
And like that, it can also mean ovaries. So see how that situation environment is used. So like Trostop put it is saying egg shelter, but it can mean the womb or even ovaries. And then they spoke in different ways. Like I found some words in there that I didn't know, like a penny. They called it something else. I can't even remember it. But I had to read the English to see what that word was, to know what it was in Muskogee. I had to read the English Bible. And this is where all these different words comes in. And it's interesting. And you guys that's on here, why don't y'all try? If y'all got a Creek Bible, try it. And you'll find different words in there that we don't use to speak. Maybe we did way back.
Ella?
Did you hear him, Ella? He's talking to you.
Ella, do you have the dictionary that you can put on your phone? It's an old one from the 1800s.
No.
On some of the older words, that would probably help. Although when I read John 3:16 at my current level of reading, it doesn't seem like it uses any particularly odd words to me, at least in what I have.
Well, to me, like Trukstach Hodi, in English, that's an egg shelter. In English, it means egg, and Hodi means like something that stays in or a cover for something. But in a woman's body,
the chicken coop.
Yeah, the chicken coop, the egg coop. Yeah. So see, that's what she's talking about, that it's hard to understand when you've been speaking a different way, but it can mean ovaries or it can mean the womb.
If you never heard the word.
Exactly.
Yeah. Use it that way. That's what she's talking about. And it is hard. Well, I know there's some words in there that's not even Muskogee in Genesis.
Yeah, there are. That is true.
There's
they're Hebrew words that
that took me 6 months to find what those were.
Well,
because I had never heard those. I looked and I had this girl just happened to have a Hebrew dictionary. And I thought, what are words doing in a Muskogee dictionary? Because I ain't never heard yeoman and Leland in my whole lifetime. No one ever spoke about it. I never heard it until I read it. And I was like, what in the world is this? I've never heard this. I went and asked different speakers. They didn't know. So I went to Hebrewman, Joga, Unayat Ahyen, Man Magidom, Man Gichemetz. That I knew what it was. I knew. It was the same thing. But how did that get in there? That's my question. How did it get in there?
That's just how the translator chose to do it. He could have taken a Creek word But maybe he didn't think the Creek word was very good. I don't know. I don't
Something.
But still yet, we would have understood what it
That would have
meant.
been better, yeah. Dakuzi.
Hello, Jonathan. Hello, Haram G. All right, so it is 1 o'clock. Aliskiska Hangaro, Bibiga Hanyon, Jim Wick again. Yanakia, Muchimahaya, Okhijin, Nagin, Gizi, Ajimukhaya Jada no what, Ambo Hats no what. Jimmy Bushka no what means. If y'all got any questions and y'all need explanation, if I can, I'll try. But I want y'all to go over this because this is what actually tones. Tones is what we miss in the language a lot of times. In Hagi or Jidondo. And like when I speak, it's different from saying Jido hitches. It's saying Chicto hitches. Instead of saying I saw a snake, but now they're saying Jido hitches. That don't mean nothing. But if I say Chicto hitches, that's saying hear that tone. And that's because the enunciation is right on. Okay? So y'all need, study those sounds, study these things. And we'll go into different things. We're going to review. So Hadama in Hadijiska, in Hayatgat, Chihijagatis. In Hadijiska Monday, in Hayatgat means the morning of Chihijagathi. Oh, I know. Iajadi did a bogats and y'all take care. And I will see y'all then. Mado, everybody.
Mvhayv, Mvhayv,
Mado,
can I share something with you real quick?
Sure.
Yesterday, I put my little 6-month-old grandson in his jumper. And I kept saying, Daskida, Daskida. And he would laugh and he would just jump up and down.
There you go. There you go. There it is, Jane. See, it's just using it. And you know what? He'll learn that word and he'll know what it is.
Oh, he knows a lot of words. In fact, I
Good.
know he knows how to say ihi because I say estongon jokayadega and he goes ihi.
See, that makes me so happy. That makes me so happy because this is what it's going to take. And you know what? This tiny child probably knows more than 400 people out there. That should make you proud. That makes me proud. That makes me so proud. That's what it takes. Good job, Jane. I am so proud. I am so proud. I am so proud of that. And that little boy, you give him a hug for me. And that's from you, though. You did that, Jane. You did that. Be proud of yourself. Pat yourself on the back. If you was here, I'd pat you on the back. But that's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take. Mado. That just made my day.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, Chihigate. Mado, everybody. Chihigate.
Dimo Mado.
Oh, I know. Are you best?